Hello there, I'm Scoop224, and today I think I will waste a little bit of your time with introductions to say, spoiler warning for The Phantom Blood, the first season of JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure. Shall we begin? I think we shall. Episode 1, Dio the Invader. In 1880 England, Jonathan Joestar is a young man with the intent to become a gentleman, such as fighting for a woman's honor even if he would not win. Meanwhile, the thief Dario Brando is on his deathbed and tells his son Dio to move in with the Joestar family to fulfill his own life debt to the Joestars. Dio does so, intending to take the Joestar fortune for himself. Dio outshines Jonathan while making him a pariah among his family and friends. Dio takes the first kiss from Jonathan's childhood love, Arena Pendleton, and makes her unable to look Jonathan in the eye. Upon learning of Dio's action, Jonathan goes into a rage and hits Dio. Some of Dio's blood is spilled on an ancient stone mask that seems to react until the fight is broken up by George Joestar, Jonathan's father. Dio has Jonathan's beloved dog, Danny, killed by putting him in the incinerator. Episode 2, A Letter from the Past. In 1888, George Joestar becomes ill and is bedridden. While doing research on the strange mask, Jonathan finds the dying Dario's letter and finds his symptoms are the same as George's. Using Dio's pride against him, Jonathan deduces that Dio murdered Dario and intends to do the same with George. After leaving instructions for only trusted doctors to tend to his father, Jonathan sets off to London to discover the origins of the poison. Fearing Jonathan would ruin his plans, Dio steals the stone mask with the intent to arrange an accidental death with it. In London's Orgay Street, Jonathan is attacked by a thug, Robert E.O. Speedwagon. But Jonathan's sense of honor and desire to save his father convinces Speedwagon to assist in the search for an Oriental druggist. Meanwhile, assuming that Jonathan died in Orgay Street, Dio crosses paths with two drunkards. He slits one of their throats to subject them to the other's stone... He slits one of their throats to subject the other to the activated stone mask. Instead of killing the second drunkard like Dio thought it would, the mask turns the victim into a powerful vampire that nearly kills Dio, but Dio is saved when the sun rises and the sunlight turns the vampire to dust. Episode 3, Youth with Dio. At the Joestar mansion, Jonathan returns with an antidote for George and intends to turn Dio into the police. Speedwagon arrives to tell Jonathan that Dio is evil by birth and brings the druggist Wang Chan, who sold Dio the poison. Evading arrest, Dio kills George and uses the mask on himself to become an immortal vampire. As several attempts to kill Dio fail, Jonathan sets the mansion on fire and leads Dio to the roof so Speedwagon can escape. Jonathan attempts to sacrifice himself by dragging Dio down to a fiery death, but Dio's attempted counter forces Jonathan to use the layout to safely land while impaling Dio on the statue of Joestar family guardian angel. Speedwagon pulls Jonathan to safety. Dio survives by draining Chan of his blood when Chan attempts to grab the mask from among the debris. Episode 4, Overdrive. In the hospital, Jonathan rekindles his friendship with Arena, and a man called Will A. Zeppeli heals Jonathan's broken arm with a supernatural technique called Harmon. Meanwhile, Dio continues to prowl London, recruiting the vilest of men he knows into his undead army, including Jack the Ripper, as Zeppeli trains Jonathan to master Harmon, which kills vampires. He explains how he has dedicated himself to mastering Harmon in order to destroy the mask. Jonathan, Speedwagon, and Zeppeli travel to the town of Winnight's Lot, where the people have gone missing. Whilst passing through a tunnel into the town, they are attacked by Jack as Jack tries to lure them into a trap. Jonathan is tasked by Zeppeli to finish him off without spilling any of the wine Zeppeli has poured into a glass. Using the wine, Jonathan comes to understand Harmon, allowing him to kill Jack from the other side of the wall using his own Harmon technique, Overdrive. Episode 5, The Dark Knights. In Winnight's Lot, A pickpocket boy called Poco, hypnotized by Dio, lures Jonathan and the group to the graveyard, where they are attacked by Dio's legion of zombies. Zeppeli attempts to use his hormone attacks on Dio, but he counters by freezing his veins, also freezing Jonathan's hand. Dio summons two powerful zombie knights, Tascaris and Buford, to finish the job for him, as Jonathan struggles against them. Speedwagon uses his body heat to thaw Zeppeli's arm. Jonathan and Buford fight moves into the depths of the nearby lake. Jonathan dives deeper into the lake. Buford follows, but Jonathan finds an air pocket under a rock, which he uses to breathe of air to launch turquoise blue overdrive attack at Buford. Episode 6, The Courage of Tomorrow. Buford barely avoids Jonathan's attack and ensnares Jonathan with his hair. However, Jonathan blocks Buford's attack and channels an overdrive attack through his sword, disintegrating one of his arms before unleashing a barrage against him. As Buford dies, he regains his human soul and leaves Jonathan his sword. Tartarus then attacks, but Jonathan and Zeppeli get Speedwagon and Poco to safety using hormone to form a bunch of leaves as a hang glider. As Tarkus leaps after them, they touch down at the knight's training ground to stand against him. Jonathan is pulled inside the ground by Tartarus, thrusting him into the chain and neck deathmatch, in which one must decapitate the other in order to free himself. Realizing Jonathan will be killed if no one does anything, Poco overcomes his nerves and enters the ground via a window. Poco unlocks the door so Zeppeli can get inside. Episode 7, The Successor. Zeppeli recalls how his hormone teacher Tomphany foretold his death would take place in a very place he is right now. Knowing this, Zeppeli fights against Tartarus with the intention of finding a way to free Jonathan. However, Tarkus ensnares Zeppeli with a chain and rips his body into two. Using the last of his strength, Zeppeli transfers the last of his hormone energy to Jonathan. Jonathan heals his injuries, breaks free from his chain, and obliterates Tarkus. Following the battle, Zeppeli tells Jonathan that he has accepted his fate and has passed his will on to him. Before passing away, as Jonathan, Speedwagon, and Pogo make their way back to win Knight's Lot, they meet Tom Petty along with his students, Dyer and Starzio. Meanwhile, Poco's sister has been kidnapped by Dio. Episode 8, Bloody Battle, JoJo and Dio. Dio sends a zombie named Doobie. Oh god, I'm laughing at that name. To attack Poco's sister after he refuses to join his legion. Jonathan and the others arrive in time to save her. Doobie delivers a few bites on Jonathan with the poisonous snakes in his head, but neither the venom nor Doobie stands up. Jesus Christ. Why? Why is he called Doobie? Stands up to Jonathan's power. Poco and his sister reunite. Dyer launches the ultimate attack, the Thunder Cross split attack, on Dio, but he is caught by Dio's freezing ability, and he is shattered into pieces. Jonathan slices his sword straight across Dio's body, but Dio freezes his sword and attacks Jonathan's neck. However, Jonathan thaws himself by heating the sword with a torch. Jonathan sets his fists on fire to counter Dio's freezing and breaks through Dio's defenses with an overdrive attack as his body melts and he falls into the abyss. Dio launches a final attack that pierces Jonathan's hand, but does little more than that. Doobie. Who names... Like, it's supposed to be a threatening zombie. Why would they name it Doobie? Episode 9, The Final Rippo. Dio decapitates his head to survive the Harmon attack. Speedwagon destroys the stone mask with a hammer. Jonathan marries Irina. And they depart on a ship to America to go on their honeymoon. Dio and his zombified Wang Chen sneak... I didn't see Chen after that, and on my own script I read that as Dio's zombified Wang. Sneak aboard on February 7th, 1889. Dio fatally injures Jonathan as he intends to take his body and use it as his own. Most of the ship becomes zombies after Chan infects one passenger. Using the last Harmon energy he has, Jonathan decapitates Chan and compels his body to obstruct the ship paddle wheel, setting it to explode. As Irina resolves to die by her husband's side, Jonathan instead tells her to live on and protect the baby whose mother died during the zombie attack. Jonathan passes away with Dio's head in his arms. Irina and the baby hide in Dio's bomb-proof coffin to protect them from the explosion. Irina is rescued by the near Canary Islands and vows to pass on the truth of what happened to the unborn child she's conceived with Jonathan and generations to follow. I would like to give a big thanks to those who watched this all the way through, despite me messing up words and going back because I messed up words and laughing at the fact that a zombie's name was Doobie. For those who actually finished watching the video, thank you very much.